He thought it was just a celebration. Now an alien princess calls him her husband. Amir had been looking forward to the Interstellar Festival for weeks, mostly because he thought it would be a quiet, elegant affair, a chance to see some alien culture without any of the chaos usually attached to first contact events. He had been invited by the Galactic Cultural Exchange Council, a new organization connecting humans and extraterrestrial civilizations in friendly ways. To him, it sounded like a small ceremony with a few dignitaries, perhaps some music, exotic foods, and polite conversation. Nothing more. As he stepped onto the landing platform of the starport, his eyes widened. Ships of every imaginable shape floated gracefully above the city, some shaped like geometric crystals that shimmered in sunlight, others like translucent bubbles filled with swirling colors. There were floating walkways lined with glowing plants, bridges that curved impossibly into the sky, and a city that seemed alive, humming softly with energy. For a moment, Amir forgot to breathe, staring at the spectacle before him. A small being approached him. It was barely 4 feet tall, its skin glowing faintly like moonlight, with large eyes that reflected curiosity more than judgment. "Welcome, human guest," it said in perfect English, which made Amir jump slightly. "You are late for the opening ceremony." "Late." "I thought it started in an hour," Amir replied, glancing at the digital projection hovering above the platform. It clearly said 6:00 Galactic Standard Time. He looked down at his watch, then back at the alien, unsure. Maybe I misunderstood the schedule." The creature's eyes twinkled, and it extended a delicate hand. "Time is flexible here. Follow me." It turned, and Amir had no choice but to follow. The creature floated a few inches above the ground, leaving Amir's own human stride awkward and slow in comparison. He struggled not to trip over the shimmering edges of the walkways, trying to keep pace. Soon, they arrived at the central plaza. Hundreds of beings milled about, their forms diverse beyond his ability to imagine. Some were tall and crystalline, refracting light with every movement. Others had wings made of what looked like liquid, constantly changing shape as they fluttered. The air smelled sweet, like flowers mixed with something metallic, and there was a soft hum that resonated in Amir's chest. He had never felt anything like it. A tall, elegant figure approached them. Her skin was soft and golden, like sunlight captured in silk, and her eyes were the color of the night sky. She carried herself with a grace that made every other being in the plaza seem slower, more awkward. Amir's stomach dropped. He had the sudden, foolish thought that he had stumbled into royalty, though he had no idea which planet's royalty would involve humans at all. "You must be the guest," she said, her voice calm and melodic. Amir's heart thudded in his chest. Yes." "Amir," he said, shaking slightly. "I am Princess Leora," she replied, and then smiled in a way that made Amir feel both terrified and welcomed at the same time. "You are here to witness the Festival of Bonds." Yes," Amir said, though he wasn't sure what that really meant. He had read about the festival in the Council's briefing documents, but the words had seemed abstract at the time. A celebration of interspecies connection, mutual understanding, and shared knowledge. He had pictured speeches and handshakes, maybe some music. He had not imagined this living, breathing city of wonders. Leora gestured with her hand, and a platform rose from the ground, surrounded by soft, glowing lights. Beings of every shape and size gathered around it, forming a circle. "The festival is about connections," she said, "and tonight it begins with a bond, one that will surprise you." Amir swallowed hard, uncertain how to respond. He had always been curious about alien cultures, but curiosity had limits. He wasn't expecting to be part of a ceremony himself. The platform shimmered, and a soft, golden light surrounded him. Amir felt himself lifted gently, not by hands, but by some invisible force. Panic flashed through him for a second, but then he realized it was harmless, even soothing. Around him, the crowd of aliens seemed to hold their breath, waiting for something. "You human," Leora said, her voice carrying across the plaza, "have been chosen as a participant in our oldest tradition." Amir blinked. "Chosen for what?" he asked, trying to sound calm. "For a bond," she said simply. "A bond that honors your species, your curiosity, your kindness. You will share the first step in understanding our ways." Amir's mind raced. This was not what he had signed up for. He had expected cultural exchange. He had expected music and art. He had not expected this. I don't know if—" "Do not worry," Leora said, her smile patient. You only need to be present. The bond begins with recognition of our differences and ends in mutual respect. It is simple, yet meaningful. The light around Amir softened, and he realized he could still move. He stepped forward awkwardly, hoping not to make a fool of himself. The aliens around the circle looked at him with what seemed like genuine curiosity. No hostility, no judgment, just attention. Then, unexpectedly, the princess reached out her hand. "Amir, take my hand." Amir hesitated, unsure what the implications were, but the eyes of the crowd encouraged him. Slowly, he reached forward and held her hand. A warmth spread through him, and the plaza seemed to brighten. Soft music, unlike anything he had heard on Earth, began to play. It was not coming from instruments, but from the air itself. The sounds wrapped around him like a gentle wave, resonating deep in his chest. "You are part of the bond now," Leora said. "You are recognized, you are honored." Amir swallowed hard, trying to process everything at once. He had never felt more out of place, and yet somehow more seen. Around him, the aliens began to hum in unison, a sound that made him shiver with wonder. Then came the moment that made his heart nearly stop. Leora leaned closer, her voice barely above a whisper but perfectly audible to him. "From this moment you are mine as I am yours. You are my partner in this ceremony, Amir." "Mine partner?" Amir echoed, horrified and confused, even as his mind raced to understand. He had not agreed to anything. He had no idea what it meant. Was it a legal thing, a ritual, a metaphor? "It is our way," she said, smiling. "You need not fear. It is not binding in the way you think, but it is real." Amir's thoughts tumbled over each other. He was part of a ceremony he barely understood, in a city that defied all logic, held by the hand of an alien princess who called him her partner. He wanted to laugh, to run, to ask questions, but he could not. Something in the warmth of her hand, the light around them, and the gentle hum of the crowd kept him rooted in place. The ceremony continued. Aliens of every form approached him, offering gestures of welcome, small gifts of floating lights and shimmering fabrics, tokens of peace and curiosity. Amir responded the only way he could. He smiled, awkwardly bowed, and whispered thanks, learning quickly that gestures mattered more than words here. Finally, the platform descended back to the ground. Amir's feet touched the glowing walkway, and the light around him faded. He breathed deeply, trying to calm the thrum of energy still pulsing in his chest. He looked at Leora, and she nodded. "You did well," she said. I think I did," he muttered, still unsure of what exactly well meant in this context. "You will learn," Leora said gently. "And you will be respected." Amir glanced around at the city, at the aliens, at the festival that seemed alive with colors, sounds, and ideas. He realized he had stumbled into something far beyond what he had imagined. A celebration, yes, but also an introduction to a world that might change his understanding of humanity itself. And though he did not yet understand it, he felt a spark of something new, a connection that went beyond culture, species, or even language. He was part of something bigger, something wondrous, and though it terrified him, he could not help but feel honored. As the evening continued, Amir moved among the crowd, still holding the hand of the princess who had claimed him in ritual. Every moment brought new sights, sounds, and gestures he could scarcely comprehend. And in the back of his mind, a single thought lingered. What had he just agreed to, and how would it change his life forever? For the first time in years, Amir felt truly small, and yet somehow incredibly significant. Amir woke the next morning to a soft golden light spilling into the room. The walls of the guest chamber shimmered gently, responding to his presence as though alive. He sat up in bed, rubbing his eyes. For a moment he thought he might still be dreaming, but then he noticed the delicate aroma of strange flowers filling the air and the faint hum of energy vibrating beneath the floor. No, this was real. He glanced around, taking in the room. It was simple, yet unlike anything he had seen before. The furniture seemed to float just above the ground, shaped like curves and waves instead of straight lines. Transparent shelves held glowing objects that changed color depending on how he looked at them. And at the center, softly glowing, was a small device that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Amir stood up cautiously. He had no idea what today would bring. Yesterday had been overwhelming enough, a festival, a ritual, an alien princess declaring him her partner. Today, he assumed, would be calmer. Maybe he could explore the city, learn a few words, or even find a quiet corner to collect his thoughts. Before he could decide, there was a soft knock at the door. "Enter," he called, though his voice sounded small in the strange room. The door slid open and Princess Leora stepped in, her presence immediately filling the space with warmth. She smiled at him, her golden eyes bright. "Good morning, Amir," she said. "I hope you rested well." I think so," he said, trying to sound composed. "It's different here. Everything is different." "Yes," Leora said softly, walking closer. "And that is the point. Our festival is about seeing beyond what is ordinary, learning to understand the unexpected." Amir nodded, though he felt more like he was grasping at shadows than truly understanding. "Yesterday, the ceremony, you called me your partner. What exactly does that mean? I mean, I didn't agree to anything." Leora's smile deepened. "You did not need to. This bond is symbolic for your species. For us, it is an honor, a connection between our worlds. You are now part of our tradition, and through you, humans are recognized as valued friends." Amir blinked. Symbolic, honor, connection. That sounded reassuring, yet it did not stop the tiny flutter of panic in his stomach. He had never been involved in anything like this, not on Earth, not even close. "So, I'm not legally married?" he asked, needing clarity. "Not in the way your species understands marriage," Leora explained. "It is not a contract, but a promise of respect. You will participate in ceremonies, share meals, and experience our culture. That is all." Amir exhaled, feeling a little lighter. Still, he wondered what it would be like to live in a world where every gesture carried meaning he did not yet understand. Leora gestured toward the window. "Come, the festival continues today, and there are many things you must see." Amir followed, stepping out onto a balcony that overlooked the city. The streets below were alive with movement. Aliens floated and walked side by side, carrying objects that shimmered and hummed. Some performed dances that twisted gravity itself. Others released glowing creatures into the air that fluttered like living fireworks. He watched in awe, realizing that every corner of this city pulsed with life in ways Earth had never imagined. "Do you see?" Leora asked. "Everything here has a purpose, a meaning. Nothing is random. Humans often think the universe is chaotic, but to us, it is full of patterns and connections." Amir nodded slowly, trying to absorb the truth of her words. He had always studied patterns on Earth, mathematics, biology, physics. But this was a new kind of pattern, one made of culture, energy, and emotion. They descended into the city, moving through streets that curved and bent in impossible ways. Floating vehicles passed overhead, and beings of every shape greeted them politely. Amir found himself smiling automatically, amazed at how the inhabitants of this world treated him with a mix of curiosity and respect. At one point, they reached a large plaza filled with tables, each covered in objects that glowed softly. "These are our cultural gifts," Leora explained. "They are meant to be shared. You may choose one to honor your own people." Amir hesitated, unsure what to pick. Some objects floated like liquid glass, others hummed softly when touched. Finally, he reached out and selected a small cube that glowed with shifting colors. When he held it, he felt a pulse as though it recognized him. "Is this okay?" he asked. "Yes," Leora said. "You have chosen well. Humans are observers, and this object values observation. It will help our people understand your perspective." Amir smiled, feeling a small surge of pride. Even in this strange place, he had made a choice that mattered. As the day went on, Leora introduced him to more customs. They visited a hall where beings created art using only thought, where music was made by touching light, and where communication occurred without words, through pulses of emotion and imagery. Amir struggled at first, feeling clumsy and slow. But slowly, with patience and curiosity, he began to understand. His human mind, trained in logic and observation, adapted quickly. By afternoon, he had learned to send small images through thought, to create simple melodies in light, and even to perform minor gestures of cultural etiquette. Leora watched him, smiling proudly. "You are learning faster than many of our own people," she said. Amir laughed. "Maybe humans are just stubborn. We never give up when something doesn't make sense." "Indeed," she agreed. "That is why we honor you in our festival. Your stubborn curiosity, your perseverance, and your kindness are unique gifts to the universe." The festival continued into the evening, moving from plaza to plaza. Aliens danced, sang, and displayed marvels that defied earthly physics. Amir could barely keep up, but he was fascinated by every moment. He began to notice patterns in the rituals, small, repeated gestures that conveyed meaning beyond words. Every time he observed, he felt a deeper connection, not only to the aliens but to humanity itself. At one point, Leora stopped near a large fountain. Water swirled upward in glowing streams, defying gravity and formed shapes that mimicked memories of past festivals. She held out her hand again. Amir, do you see how our past guides our present? Amir nodded. Yes, everything here is connected. Exactly, she said. And now you are part of that connection. The words sent a shiver down his spine. He was just a human from Earth, yet here he was, woven into the fabric of an alien tradition. It was overwhelming, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. By nightfall, the city glowed like a constellation come to life. Amir and Leora sat at a quiet balcony overlooking the festival. He felt exhausted but alive, the day's experiences replaying in his mind. Amir, Leora said softly, you are beginning to understand. Humans are remarkable, not because of strength or speed or technology alone, but because of your curiosity, your empathy, and your ability to see possibilities others cannot. Amir smiled faintly, feeling a mix of pride and humility. He had never thought of humanity in such a way. I never imagined we could be seen like that. Few do, Leora replied, but the universe is vast and it needs humans. Your perspective, your approach to life is rare and valuable. Amir looked out at the festival below. For the first time, he truly felt that humans could belong among the stars, not as conquerors, but as friends, as partners, as beings capable of wonder and understanding. And then, just as he was beginning to feel comfortable, Leora leaned closer and said, her voice a gentle murmur, tomorrow, Amir, you will participate in the next part of the festival. A more personal ceremony. I hope you are ready. Amir froze. Next part, more personal. I don't know if I... Do not worry, Leora said with a reassuring smile. It is not dangerous. It will help you understand our ways more deeply, and it will strengthen the bond between our species. Amir exhaled, feeling a mixture of dread and curiosity. He had survived yesterday. He had learned new ways to communicate and connect. Surely he could manage whatever came next. As he lay down that night, the glow from the city outside his window casting shifting patterns across the room, Amir realized he was no longer just a visitor. He was part of something bigger, something alive. The princess's hand in his yesterday had symbolized more than ritual, it had symbolized trust. And trust, he thought, was perhaps the most human thing of all. He closed his eyes, wondering what the next day would bring. For the first time in his life, he felt both terrified and excited for the future, knowing that the universe had opened its doors to him in ways he could never have imagined. And somewhere deep inside, a small spark of anticipation flickered. He could not yet name it, but he knew it was something extraordinary. Amir woke to the soft hum of the city once more. The golden light spilled gently across his room, shifting as if it were alive, and the faint scent of the glowing flowers filled the air. Today, he reminded himself, would be different. Princess Leora had promised a more personal ceremony, though she had not explained what it entailed. His curiosity was mixed with anxiety, but he pushed aside his nerves. After yesterday, he thought he might be able to handle anything, at least he hoped so. When he entered the balcony to meet Leora, she was already waiting, radiant in a flowing garment that seemed to float in the air like liquid gold. "Good morning, Amir," she said, smiling. "Are you ready for today's part of the festival?" "I think so," he replied cautiously, trying to sound confident. "Though I'm not really sure what to expect." "That is perfectly fine," Leora said, taking his hand. "It is meant to be surprising. But you will see, it is meant to teach and connect, not to frighten." Together, they stepped out into the city. The streets were alive, even more so than yesterday. Beings of all shapes glided, floated, or walked, carrying intricate objects that shimmered and hummed softly. Some creatures released patterns of glowing lights into the air, which danced like ribbons. Others sang in harmonies that resonated deep in Amir's chest, vibrating through him in ways that made him smile. They arrived at a large, open courtyard. At its center, a platform floated a few inches above the ground, shaped like a spiral of translucent glass. Around the platform, dozens of aliens were gathered, some of them similar in form to the ones Amir had met yesterday, others completely new, with shapes that defied logic. Leora turned to him. "This is the Garden of Reflections," she explained. "Here we share our thoughts, our memories, and our dreams. Today you will learn how humans connect with your own emotions and how our species does the same." Amir's brow furrowed. "Share memories. Dreams, how does that even work?" "You will see," Leora said, her voice patient. "It is simple and yet profound. Before he could respond, she took his hand and guided him to the platform. As soon as he stepped onto it, the surface glowed softly beneath his feet. The aliens around them hummed, and Amir felt a gentle pressure on his temples, almost like a soft tap. Then, without warning, he saw flashes of color, vivid, shifting images that seemed to come from nowhere. "What is this?" he asked, startled. "Do not be afraid," Leora said. "These are our memories of the festival, and you will share yours as well. It is a way to connect without words." Amir hesitated, but curiosity overcame his nerves. He focused on a memory of his childhood, of running barefoot through a meadow on Earth, laughing as the sun warmed his face. The image appeared before the aliens, floating like a glowing bubble in the air. He watched as they observed it, their faces reflecting wonder and delight. "You see," Leora said, "humans share emotions through stories and memories. We share them through visions, yet the goal is the same: to connect." Amir took a deep breath. Encouraged, he shared another memory, a moment with his younger sister, helping her build a small model rocket. As he concentrated, the image appeared beside the first, and the aliens responded with a soft chorus of hums and lights, expressing admiration and joy. "Humans are expressive," one of the aliens said through a soft vibration that Amir could sense more than hear. "Your species' emotions are rich and complex. Your curiosity and kindness shine through even these simple moments." Amir blushed, realizing he had never thought of his small, everyday memories as remarkable. Yet here, they were being appreciated in ways he had never imagined. Leora squeezed his hand. "You are doing well. Now it is time to understand our dreams." Amir's stomach fluttered. Dreams, he thought. How could he possibly experience alien dreams? Leora gestured, and the platform around them pulsed with light. Slowly, soft images began to form in the air. A glowing landscape with floating islands, a river of stars, creatures that seemed to be made of light. Amir realized that these were the princess's memories and aspirations, her thoughts about the future of her people and the bonds they were forming with other species. "This is beautiful," Amir whispered. "It feels peaceful." "Yes," Leora said. "Our dreams guide our actions. They show who we are and who we hope to become. Now you understand why we value connection so deeply. Seeing these dreams allows you to feel our intentions, just as sharing your memories allows us to understand you." Amir nodded slowly, feeling a warmth spread in his chest. The realization struck him clearly. Humans, too, had the power to connect, to inspire, and to be understood. And yet, here was a species doing it in ways he had never imagined. After a few moments, the platform descended, and the visions gently faded. Amir felt both exhilarated and exhausted, as if he had experienced days' worth of emotion in only an hour. Leora looked at him, her eyes bright. "You are learning quickly," she said. "Humans have an unusual capacity for empathy and imagination. It is rare to see a being so open to our ways so soon." Amir smiled faintly, though he still felt overwhelmed. "I just try to understand. It's all so different but beautiful," Leora nodded. "And that is why you were chosen for the bond. Your mind, your heart, your human way of seeing the universe is precious to us." As they walked through the city later that day, Amir began to notice small details he had missed before. The floating lanterns above the streets were not just decorative. They moved in patterns that represented the history of the festival. The small humming devices people carried were not just instruments. They were teaching tools, transmitting knowledge and emotion simultaneously. Every aspect of the city, every ritual, had purpose. Humans, he realized, might have technology and science, but here was a civilization that had woven emotion, art, and understanding into every corner of life. "Amir," Leora said suddenly, stopping in front of a fountain that seemed to contain liquid light instead of water. "Tomorrow you will participate in the ceremony of gifts. It is one of our oldest traditions, and it is where the bond becomes more tangible." Amir swallowed. "Tangible? How tangible are we talking?" "Do not worry," she replied with a soft laugh. "It is symbolic but meaningful. You will understand its importance once you see it. The ceremony strengthens the connection between humans and our people." Amir nodded, though his curiosity was tinged with nerves. Every day brought new experiences, and each one seemed more extraordinary than the last. He had never imagined that being human could hold such value in a universe so vast, so full of wonder. That evening they returned to his chamber. Amir sat by the window, staring out at the glowing city below. The festival lights shimmered like stars, and he felt a sense of belonging he had never known. Even though he was still far from home, still unsure of what tomorrow would bring, he felt recognized. Leora entered quietly, carrying a small, glowing object. "A gift," she said, placing it beside him. "For you from the festival." Amir picked it up carefully. The object shifted in color and shape as he held it, responding to his touch. It's incredible," he said. "How does it do this?" "It is designed to respond to the holder's curiosity and emotion," Leora explained. "You will find it helps you communicate, not just with me, but with others here. Think of it as a bridge between worlds." Amir studied it, turning it over in his hands. He realized that the simplest things here could carry meaning far beyond what he had expected. He smiled faintly. Humans could learn from this, not just about technology, but about how to connect, how to understand each other better. "Yes," Leora said, sitting beside him. "And now you understand why the festival honors humans in this way. Your species has the ability to inspire even the most advanced civilizations. Curiosity, empathy, creativity, these are the traits that make humans remarkable." Amir felt a surge of pride. He had never thought of himself as remarkable, but here he was, part of something extraordinary simply by being human. He realized that the festival was not only teaching him about alien culture, but also about the value of humanity itself. As night fell, the city lights pulsed gently like a heartbeat, and Amir lay down with the small gift in his hands. He thought about the memories he had shared, the visions he had seen, and the connections he was forming. Despite his nerves, he felt a growing sense of excitement. Tomorrow he would participate in the ceremony of gifts. He did not yet know what it would entail, but he trusted Leora. And more importantly, he trusted himself, his curiosity, his empathy, his human ability to connect in ways that mattered. For the first time since arriving, Amir felt a deep sense of purpose. He was not just a visitor, not just an observer. He was part of something larger, something alive, something that bridged worlds. And though he did not yet understand all of it, he knew one thing for certain. Being human had never felt so important. As he drifted into sleep, the hum of the city wrapped around him like a gentle lullaby. Dreams of floating lights, dancing visions, and shared memories filled his mind. He realized that even in a universe filled with wonders beyond imagination, there was still a place for humans, bright, curious, and endlessly capable of connection. And in that moment, Amir felt ready for whatever tomorrow would bring. Amir woke with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today was the day of the ceremony of gifts, the part of the festival Leora had mentioned as more tangible. He had no idea what to expect, but he could feel the city vibrating with anticipation, as if it shared his curiosity. Even the walls of his chamber seemed to pulse faintly, as though aware of the momentous day ahead. He dressed simply, wearing a light tunic that Leora had given him, made of a material that shifted colors slightly with movement. It was comfortable but still elegant, and Amir hoped it was appropriate. He had learned quickly that in this city, every detail mattered, and even small gestures could carry meaning far beyond what he understood. Leora was waiting outside his room, radiant as always. She smiled at him. "Are you ready, Amir?" I think so," he replied, though his stomach twisted nervously, "but I'm still not sure what this ceremony involves." "Do not worry," she said, her tone gentle. "It is a way to honor connections between species. You will see how humans and our people can share respect and understanding through the giving of gifts. It is not about wealth or status. It is about intention." Amir nodded, though the words did little to calm his nerves. He had never participated in a ceremony like this before. On Earth, gifts were simple: a card, flowers, a small object. But here, it seemed that every gift would carry meaning on a level he could scarcely imagine. As they walked through the streets, the city felt alive in ways he had not noticed before. Lanterns floated above them, carrying soft pulses of light that danced in patterns he could not yet interpret. Beings of every shape and size moved gracefully, carrying glowing objects or tending to small creatures that seemed to float on air. The energy of the city was contagious, and despite his nerves, Amir felt a thrill of excitement. They arrived at a wide plaza. At its center, a circular platform floated a few inches above the ground. Around it, aliens were gathered, each holding an object that glowed or hummed softly. Some resembled intricate crystal sculptures, others were tiny floating creatures, and a few seemed almost liquid in form, shimmering and twisting in ways Amir could not comprehend. Leora turned to him. Today you will create your gift. It does not need to be perfect. It needs only to reflect who you are, what you value, and what you wish to share with us. Amir blinked. Create a gift, me? I don't even know how. You will find a way, Leora said gently. Humans are remarkable in their creativity and ingenuity. Trust yourself. He swallowed hard and approached the platform. He noticed that each alien's gift seemed to respond to their thoughts or emotions. The small floating crystal beside one creature pulsed faster as it reflected pride, while another shimmered softly with joy. Amir realized that the gifts were not just objects. They were extensions of the giver's mind and heart. Taking a deep breath, Amir closed his eyes. He thought about what it meant to be human, what made his species unique. Curiosity, empathy, creativity, humor. The ability to see patterns and solve problems. He let these ideas fill him, and slowly he felt the platform respond. A soft light emerged from the surface, swirling around his hands. A small object began to form, not solid, not fixed, but shifting and shimmering like liquid glass. It seemed alive, responding to his thoughts, expanding and contracting with each pulse of emotion. Amir's eyes widened. It's working, he whispered. Yes, Leora said, watching him with pride. You are expressing yourself through the gift. Keep focusing on your intention. He concentrated harder, thinking about connection, about the bonds humans could form with other species. The object took on a form that reminded him of a bridge, a delicate structure of light that arched and twisted, glowing with soft colors that changed as he moved his hands. He felt a thrill of pride. Even without understanding every alien custom, he had created something meaningful, something that reflected humanity itself. The surrounding aliens leaned closer, their eyes wide with fascination. Some of them reached out, touching the glowing object lightly, sending waves of approval back to Amir. He realized that his gift was not only being understood but appreciated. His human creativity had impressed even the most advanced beings. You see, Leora said softly, your ingenuity, your ability to connect ideas and express yourself is remarkable. This is why humans are honored in our festival. Amir felt a warm glow of pride. He had never considered his curiosity or imagination to be extraordinary. On Earth, he had been one of many, just another mind in a crowd. But here, he could see how those same traits were valued across the universe. The ceremony continued. Each alien presented their gifts to the group, and Amir noticed subtle differences in how they were received. Some gifts shimmered with delight, others hummed softly, while a few pulsed with curiosity. When it was his turn, he lifted the glowing bridge of light and presented it to the princess and the gathered beings. Leora's eyes sparkled. It is beautiful, Amir. You have shared not only a creation, but a piece of your perspective, your heart. That is the true meaning of a gift. Amir blushed. I just tried to show what humans are like. I didn't know it would mean anything here. It means everything, Leora said. Your gift shows our people that humans can offer more than technology or knowledge. You offer imagination, empathy, and the ability to see connections others might miss. Amir watched as the other aliens responded, their eyes bright with admiration. He felt a mixture of pride and humility. For the first time, he realized that being human had value not because of strength or skill, but because of the way humans thought, felt, and imagined. As the ceremony ended, the gifts were displayed together in the center of the plaza. The colors, the shapes, the subtle pulses of emotion, all mingled to create a breathtaking tapestry of light and feeling. Amir realized that he had contributed something unique, and it had become part of the festival's living history. Amir, Leora said, taking his hand, you have done more than participate. You have inspired. You have shown our people the beauty of human creativity and empathy. Amir smiled, though his cheeks burned. I just did what felt natural, I guess. I didn't think it would have such an effect. That is why humans are remarkable, Leora said. Often, your actions are simple yet profound. You see the world with curiosity and heart, and that changes everything. The day continued with more experiences, each one reinforcing what Amir had learned. He helped arrange glowing flowers that responded to touch, guided a small creature that had lost its way through the city, and even created a small melody using floating lights. Each time he realized that humans had skills that were rare across the universe, not because they were powerful or fast, but because they were clever, adaptable, and empathetic. By evening, Amir felt exhausted but exhilarated. The festival lights glowed brighter than ever, reflecting off the city in a dazzling display of colors. He stood beside Leora on a quiet balcony, looking out at the living city below. "You did wonderfully today, Amir," she said softly. "Not only did you participate, but you impressed everyone here. You are a bridge between our worlds, just as your gift symbolizes." Amir shook his head, smiling faintly. "I still feel like I'm learning. There's so much I don't understand, and every day brings something new." "Exactly," Leora said. "And that is why humans are so important. You adapt, you observe, and you learn. That is the gift of your species." Amir leaned against the balcony railing, taking a deep breath. For the first time, he felt a true sense of accomplishment, not because he had mastered technology or solved a problem, but because he had shared who he was, and it had mattered. He realized that the value of humans was not in what they could take from the universe, but in what they could give: curiosity, empathy, and imagination. Leora placed a hand on his shoulder. "Tomorrow, you will participate in the final part of the festival. It will be a celebration of bonds and connections, where humans and aliens share understanding in its fullest form." Amir nodded. I think I'm ready. I've learned a lot already, and I want to see what comes next." "You will not be disappointed," Leora said, smiling. "And you will continue to teach our people about humans in ways words cannot describe." As Amir lay down that night, he held the glowing bridge gift carefully in his hands. The colors shifted softly, reflecting the pulse of the city outside. He thought about the memories, the dreams, and the bonds he had shared. He realized that even in a universe filled with wonders beyond imagination, humans had a role to play, not as conquerors, but as connectors, dreamers, and observers. And for the first time, Amir felt that being human was not something ordinary. It was extraordinary. He drifted into sleep, feeling the gentle pulse of the city around him, ready for the final celebration, and eager to see how humans could continue to inspire and connect with worlds far beyond his own. Amir woke to the soft golden light streaming into his room, just as he had every morning since arriving at the festival. But today felt different. There was a quiet electricity in the air, a sense that the city itself was holding its breath in anticipation. Today was the final celebration of the festival, the culmination of days filled with wonder, connection, and discovery. And for Amir, it was the day that would determine whether the bond he had begun with Princess Leora and her people would truly solidify. He dressed carefully, choosing the same tunic that had carried him through the ceremony of gifts. It shimmered gently in the morning light, changing color with the subtle movements of his body. He felt a flutter of nerves, but also excitement. Yesterday had shown him that humans had value here, not for power or strength, but for empathy, creativity, and curiosity. Today, he would see how far that recognition could go. Leora was waiting outside his room, radiant as ever. Her golden eyes sparkled with warmth and pride. "Good morning, Amir," she said. "Are you ready for the final part of the festival?" I think so," Amir replied, swallowing nervously. "I feel like I've learned so much, but I'm still not sure what to expect." "That is exactly how it should feel," Leora said. "The final celebration is not about mastery or perfection. It is about connection, about understanding each other and ourselves. And you, Amir, are a vital part of it." As they walked together toward the central plaza, Amir noticed the city seemed more alive than ever. Floating lanterns carried soft pulses of light that danced in patterns only the aliens could fully interpret. Beings of every shape and form moved gracefully, some carrying glowing objects, others guiding small creatures that floated effortlessly through the air. The plaza itself was transformed, a living mosaic of color, light, and movement, designed to celebrate connection and understanding. At the center of the plaza was a large platform that hovered just above the ground. Its surface shifted and shimmered, responding to the presence of those who approached. Around it, aliens were gathered in anticipation, each carrying small objects, light constructs, or delicate devices designed to represent their thoughts, dreams, and intentions. Leora turned to Amir. "Today, you will participate fully in the Festival of Bonds. You will share your human perspective, your creativity, your empathy, and your understanding of connection. It is a culmination of all you have learned and all you have shared so far." Amir nodded, feeling a mixture of nerves and determination. He stepped onto the platform, feeling it respond to his presence with a gentle pulse beneath his feet. Around him, the aliens observed closely, their attention focused but kind. "Begin when you are ready," Leora said softly. Amir took a deep breath. He thought about the past days, the ceremony of memories, the ceremony of gifts, the moments when he had shared memories, dreams, and creations with these beings. He realized that humans, even in their simplest moments, carried a remarkable capacity for connection. That thought gave him courage. He reached into his mind and let images form, just as he had done before, but this time he included more than memories. He let his imagination flow freely, showing visions of human creativity. Children building machines from scraps, scientists exploring the unknown, artists painting entire worlds in a single canvas. He let the aliens see the empathy humans carried, the way people cared for each other, for animals, for planets they barely understood. As the images appeared, the aliens responded with soft hums, bursts of light, and subtle shifts in their forms. They were reacting not to the clarity of the images, but to the emotion behind them, the intent, the care, the curiosity, and the creativity. Amir felt a thrill of connection. Even without shared language, they understood. Then he added something new, visions of his own life, his hopes, his dreams, and his fears. He showed his desire to explore, to understand, and to connect with the universe in meaningful ways. He let the images merge with the glowing bridge gift he had created during the ceremony of gifts, allowing it to pulse and change in harmony with his thoughts. Around him, the aliens leaned closer, their eyes bright and shimmering. Leora's hand found his, giving him a gentle squeeze. "You are doing beautifully," she whispered. "Your human perspective is inspiring, your connection is real." Amir felt a warmth spread through him. For the first time, he truly understood what Leora had meant when she called him her partner. Not in the way humans thought of marriage or bonds, but as a symbol of trust, respect, and mutual understanding. He realized that being human was not only being recognized, it was being valued for qualities that transcended species. The platform beneath him began to rise slowly, carrying him above the plaza. From this height, Amir could see the entire festival in a new way. The glowing lanterns, the shimmering objects, and the soft, pulsating creatures formed patterns that seemed to respond to the emotions and thoughts of all participants. It was a living tapestry, a celebration of connection, and Amir's contributions were part of it. A gentle vibration touched his mind. He realized that the festival had a shared network, allowing participants to feel the intentions and emotions of others. He reached out with his thoughts, sending waves of curiosity, kindness, and creativity through the crowd. The aliens responded instantly, creating patterns of light that danced in the air, swirling around him like a galaxy of shimmering stars. Leora smiled, her eyes reflecting the vibrant display. "Amir, you are showing the true value of humans. Not through force, not through power, but through thought, emotion, and creativity. You are bridging worlds." Amir felt a deep sense of pride. He had never considered himself remarkable, but now he realized that being human, being curious, empathetic, and imaginative, was extraordinary in ways he had never imagined. He had contributed something meaningful, and it had resonated across an entire civilization. The crowd began to hum in unison, a gentle, resonant sound that seemed to vibrate through the plaza, the platform, and even through Amir's chest. The aliens were celebrating not only the festival, but the connection that had been formed. Amir felt the hum echoing inside him, a reminder that humans could touch lives in ways beyond comprehension. Then Leora stepped forward, raising her hands. The hum intensified, and the light of the festival coalesced around her and Amir. She looked at him with eyes full of warmth and pride. "Amir, today you have shown the universe what humans can offer. You have connected, shared, and inspired. You are a true partner, not in the sense of ownership, but in the sense of trust, understanding, and mutual respect." Amir felt a surge of emotion, a mix of awe, joy, and gratitude. I didn't know I could do all this," he admitted. "I just tried to understand, to share who we are." "That is exactly why humans are extraordinary," Leora said. "You do not seek glory or power, only understanding and connection. That is a gift the universe values more than anything." The platform slowly descended, bringing Amir back to the ground. The aliens around him cheered softly, their forms shimmering with colors that reflected joy, admiration, and celebration. Amir realized that he had done more than participate in a festival. He had helped forge a bond between species, one built on empathy, curiosity, and shared understanding. As the celebration continued into the evening, Amir walked among the crowd with Leora by his side. Aliens approached him, offering gentle gestures of gratitude, small gifts, and smiles. He felt a sense of belonging he had never known, not on Earth and not anywhere else. He realized that humans had a unique role in the universe, not as conquerors or rulers, but as connectors, dreamers, and creators. At one point, a group of young aliens approached, their forms small and bright. They mimicked some of the gestures Amir had made during the ceremony of memories, trying to recreate the images he had shared. Amir laughed, delighted by their curiosity and enthusiasm. He realized that his actions had inspired even the youngest members of their society. Leora watched him, her smile soft. "You see, Amir, your humanity touches more than just us. It inspires the next generation, showing them the value of curiosity, empathy, and creativity." Amir felt a swell of pride. For the first time, he understood that being human was not about strength, speed, or technology. It was about the way they thought, felt, and imagined. It was about their ability to connect, to inspire, and to create. As the festival drew to a close, the city's lights shimmered like a constellation, reflecting the joy, connection, and understanding that had filled the day. Leora turned to Amir, her eyes shining. "Amir, the bond we have formed will last. Not as a contract or obligation, but as a symbol of respect and friendship between our species. You are part of our tradition, our history, and our future." Amir nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. I am honored. I never imagined humans could be part of something like this. "You have shown the universe the best of your species," Leora said, "and in doing so, you have shown us that the human spirit is something rare and precious. You are a bridge between worlds, Amir, and we are grateful." As he stood beside her, looking out at the city alive with light, music, and emotion, Amir realized that he had been changed. He had arrived as a curious human, unsure of his place among the stars. Now he understood that humans had value in ways the universe had only begun to recognize. The festival ended with a soft pulse of light that spread across the city, a signal of completion and celebration. The crowd dispersed slowly, carrying the memories, gifts, and connections with them. Amir held the glowing bridge gift close, feeling its pulse in harmony with his own. Leora placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "Tomorrow you may return to Earth or stay to explore further. Either way, you will carry this experience with you, and you will continue to show humanity at its finest." Amir smiled, a mixture of pride and wonder in his heart. "I think I want to stay a little longer. There's still so much to learn, and I want to see what else humans can offer." Leora nodded, her smile radiant. "Then we shall explore together, Amir. There is no limit to what curiosity and empathy can achieve." As he looked out at the glowing city one last time that evening, Amir felt a deep, undeniable truth settle within him. Humanity was not ordinary, it was extraordinary. In a universe vast and mysterious, humans had a place, not through force or conquest, but through creativity, curiosity, and connection. And for the first time, Amir understood fully that being human was a gift, not just for himself, but for every world waiting to be touched by the spark of human imagination. The festival was over, but the journey had only begun. And Amir knew, with a certainty that warmed his heart, that humans would continue to surprise, inspire, and shine across the stars.